First of all, your thoughts on Nashville. Vanney Mukhtar's on a pretty hot streak here. How do you guys sort of go about containing him here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first of all, he's a good player, really good player. They as a team are strong defensively. They don't give up very much in the grand scheme of things. They're compact. They work hard for each other. I think they're very good in the transition, which is one of the areas where he really can punish some teams. They're good in the set pieces, which is where Zimmerman is a beast in the air. And so, between these different phases of the game, they're a dangerous team, and they found a rhythm. They've switched from what was a back three, back five earlier in the season to more of a 4-2-3-1, which has allowed them maybe another attacking player up the field, which has led them to get on a good streak. And I think they found a bit of a rhythm at home that maybe they couldn't find early on. It's weird sometimes. I've done it. Moving into a new stadium and the pressure of getting results in a new stadium sometimes can be heavy, but they've certainly, over this last stretch, have found a version of themselves that has been very successful. And obviously a lot of this action goes through Mukhtar and his clever positioning, the speed at which he can turn and make the game happen. And they've got Schaffelberg, who I know well from Toronto, who's given them some real speed and directness on the left side. And Leal will come in and he'll create some overloads on the inside, which also can help to open up Mukhtar and create some different scenarios. And so they're a good team that work hard for each other. And obviously Mukhtar is, in the grand scheme of things, he's the difference maker. But I think they have other players who certainly make what they're doing very viable, which has allowed them to be successful in this stretch. Again, I think some of this starts that they're a stingy defending team that doesn't give up much, and they're able to, at home, build some momentum through games and get some goals and get on top of the game.
When you guys played them here, it was a different sort of game. It was the end of their trip.
Yeah.
I remember them sort of sitting back a lot. You expect a totally different game when it's their place.
Yeah, it'll be different. I mean, they certainly will want to impose themselves when given the opportunity, and if they can find success in a higher press, then they will. But they don't. I certainly don't think that they feel like they need to be high in press. I feel like they, if they aren't getting value from being higher up the field and pressing you, then they'll sit and they're very comfortable in a mid or lower block. They'll get everybody behind the ball. They work together as a group. Their center backs do a great job of, again, protecting the front of the goal, so they don't give up a ton of chances, and they can really hurt you in the counterattack, right, in the transition. So, again, I think they're finding a balance that is striking a balance between being aggressive and being pragmatic and playing teams on the counter a bit. That has been a successful formula for them. But again, and also, their capacity to change a game on a set piece is there because they have Zimmerman and others, that CJ and the other center back, whoever they decide to go with, and the service is always very good. So they have ways, and I think that's important in MLS if you can get on a run, is you have to have multiple ways that you can win a game, and they do have some different ways to go about that.
You guys are on a positive stretch here, five unbeaten here, but
yeah.
Going into this last six, how do you go about making sure those ties somehow turn into wins?
Yeah, I think there are some positives in this. We've set a goal as we start off games to come back in the locker room 0-0 or up, and we have come back up in most of these games. The second half has been about controlling and seeing games out. When you get tired, it's about not making mistakes and not exposing yourselves as fatigue sets in, especially the other day in the third game in a week, coming back off of a semi-long road trip on the Eastern Conference. We took a game that was in pretty good control, and with just a couple, I think maybe lack of awareness or poor decisions, we exposed ourselves, and now we're in an even game, which is a game that we weren't amazing sometimes. I thought it was a slow, methodical game, partly because I think our guys were on the third game, partly because it was warm and it was 2:30 or whatever, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, whatever it was warm. So I think it was a very slow, methodical game, but I thought we had decent control of things, and both with and without the ball. And then the next thing you know, one play that should have been nothing, and we're in a 1-1 game, feeling like we need to win the game. And then we make another mistake, and we're now 2-1 at home when we were in a game that we were in pretty good control of, I felt like. So it's about us, seeing games out, staying consistent over 90 minutes, not making little mistakes that expose ourselves, compounding those mistakes. But I felt like the control of the last few games has been better. Our starts have been better. and now we've got to play with that maturity and good decision making. There's also just some opportunities where we could maybe get the second goal and tilt the bar a little bit more, and we failed in the final action a few times in that. So look, it's the end of the season. Teams are in desperation mode. Teams are, some teams don't have a whole lot to play for, so they can do whatever they want. You have the teams that are kind of they get a little bit desperate because they're on the border. And you can find teams sometimes that are at the top that are maybe have let their foot off the gas a little bit because they're already in or whatever. So it's an interesting time, and what we have to do is stay disciplined, stay focused for 90 minutes, make sure that we take advantage of our opportunities, but we also don't expose ourselves unnecessarily through this stretch when these games can take various forms, over 90 minutes.
You pretty much won into another 3-game stretch here, so. Are you not coming back are you coming back home from Nashville?
Yeah, we're coming back through, and then we'll leave Tuesday to play on Wednesday.
Okay.
So because it's an early game in Nashville, we can get out that same night and get back and get a couple days at home to recover.
Okay. All right. Injury-wise, anybody?
Yeah, we're good. I mean, knocks, but nothing that should keep anybody out. I think by and large we're healthy and have some decisions to make, and we're going to try to one game at a time, but look at these 3 games because it's a short week. It's 3 games in 7 days, and with 2 of them on the road, right? And so it's another one that we need to manage and try to get back with the home game with enough energy and with enough grittiness and toughness that we need to win the home game at the end, and we need to take as many points as we can on the road trip.
That long conversation you had over there. Sorry to look into your personal business there, but can you tell us what the gist of that conversation was about with the midfield?
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about positional play. That's it. Just talking about sometimes remaining a little bit more disciplined in positions and making sure that we occupy good spots. We don't get too fluid for our own good to where we expose ourselves or to where we leave good spots to go try to get involved in the play. So it's just a little bit about some of those things on the positional side of things. Yeah.
Coach, given the way it ended on Sunday, people tend to overreact. That's what happens. And the fixation is that you guys are out of the playoffs right now. But the truth is that you have 2 games on hand. What's the message? How do you deal with that internally and externally?
Yeah, again, I think internally we need to just stay focused on each game one at a time, staying disciplined and focused on what we're doing. There's nothing that we can do about the table that doesn't involve taking care of each and every play that is upon us in that given moment. So it doesn't matter. We have enough games to control our fate. We have enough opportunities to put ourselves in a good position. The reality is, again, as I was saying before, we need to stay focused on what we can concentrate on, and that's making sure that we make the right plays inside of the game, and that we continue to do what we've been doing in the first half and close out games in the second half. And so it's just about discipline and performance. You can't change results. I can't make us higher in the standings until we go out and play the games and we make sure we take care of each play. So, but I think we're in a position that we probably dropped, we maybe dropped 2 points this week, but I think other than that, it was a super successful road trip. I don't think we imagined we would take 6 on the road between New England and Toronto, so I think 4 was for sure a goal. We thought we could close out this one for 2 points. We didn't, but we still have every opportunity in front of us to keep our unbeaten streak alive and just turn some draws into wins and stay solid. That's it. But I think we've made some progress in terms of our group over the last couple of weeks.
Lastly, it's the Galaxy, right? So for the last 4 of the last 5 seasons, the team hasn't reached the playoffs. So that's a conversation. Again, it's LA Galaxy, the biggest team, the most winning. Is that in the back of your head, the pressure of it's like it cannot happen again, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, again, I think it doesn't serve any purpose to get into the mindset of it cannot happen again. Like the reality is, what do we need to keep doing to ensure our chances to get this maximum points in each game? I think our mindset as competitors and as people is it should never happen, right? We should never lose a game. I don't feel like we should ever lose a game, ever. But it happens because it's football and you have human beings and you make mistakes and certain things happen. But for us, is in this process of we're trying to build the club, we're trying to build the team, we're trying to move forward, but we understand as the Galaxy, we should be in the playoffs every year, trying to compete for championships. We're building towards that. I think if we take care of our business down the stretch, we'll be in the playoffs. I would assure you that there's probably not many teams across the league who would want to play us if we can get in ourselves, once we get ourselves into that position in the playoffs. I think we become a very dangerous team because we have some very interesting attacking players. We've brought in some new players in the window who are getting their legs under them. I thought Gaston's played his 2 best games in the last 2 games. I think Ricky's starting to integrate inside of the group. Martin is a guy that we're just got on the field who will start to go. So we keep adding pieces that are going to make our team better. We just need to get that to gel and close this season out in the right way and get ourselves in a position to make a run at it in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Got it.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.